Let's talk about some books that released in 2023 that I haven't read yet, but I still want to. Hey guys, my name's Trinity. Welcome if you are new here. Welcome back if you are not. And let's talk about some books that released in 2023 that I wanted to read, but I just didn't get around to them. And we'll probably not get around to them this year because we've got some stuff coming up that's going to make me tackle other books. Okay, I'm going to start off this list by mentioning, well, for one, we've got 15 books on this list, so I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. I will give some synopses if I feel that's necessary. Some of these you probably won't need a synopsis for, such as the first book on this list, which is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. Now, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Brandon Sanderson, so why is it making this list? Well, I am a big romance fan. I love romance in my fantasy. I love romance shoved into any other plot point that you want to shove it into. Whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, whatever genre you can meld with romance. I really like a good romance. I'm never going to be mad that a romance is in a book unless it's bad. Unless it's bad. If it's bad, I will actually not enjoy it. And then I probably won't enjoy your book because I like romance and you didn't do the romance right. So, but I've heard from quite a few people that they really liked the romance in Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. And I'm not gonna lie, this book is gorgeous. So yes, I would love to add it to my shelves as well. It's not just the fact that this is a very lauded romance. And I do think that I am going into this knowing I don't like Sanderson's writing and knowing that he's probably not the best romance writer and that everyone who is saying this is not, they're not romance readers either. And so taking it with a grain of salt, but now I'm curious. You've piqued my interest. And so I'm going to attempt to read this next year and see if I like it. And if I do, what a great addition to add to my shelves because the book is beautiful. Next would be Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. Now you guys might be saying, Trinity, why don't you just read Jade City? No, nothing about that series appeals to me. I know it's popular, but let's talk about the things I'm not interested in. Character-driven books, weak magic systems, family drama, gang-related activity. I have just given you everything that is in Fonda Lee's Jade City. That series, I have a hard time remembering it because I don't try to keep it in my head because I'm not interested. But Untethered Sky is a vengeance story. It's a novella. So I have a feeling I could get a taste for Fonda Lee's writing and possibly checking out upcoming things from her. She just tackled so many things I don't like in fantasy or in books, period, in Jade City that I can't do it. There's no way I would ever like these books. So Untethered Sky, I definitely want to try. Like I said, I don't think I'll get around to it until next year, but it sounds so much more up my alley. And it's sci fantasy, which you guys know that is the subgenre that I love the most. And it's making me eager to try this, whereas I'm not eager to try Jade City or any of the other books. And speaking of sci fantasy, Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. One, I feel like this cover is really eye-catching, and so that's probably what got my attention in the first place. And it looks very similar to The First Sister by Lyndon A. Lewis, and so that's probably what initially caught my attention. But this is sci fantasy, and so I am automatically drawn to anything that says sci fantasy because I love the mixture of sci-fi and magic. I think it's awesome. But you guys have to hear the synopsis, and also it's coming in at a 4.07 on Goodreads, guys. 4.07. That is high. While we live, the enemy shall fear us. All her life, Kira has trained for the day she can avenge the murder of planet Earth. Raised in the bowels of Gaia Station, alongside the last scraps of humanity, she readies herself to face the wisdom, the all-powerful, reality-shaping weapon that gave the Mahata their victory over humanity. They are what's left. They are what must survive. Kira is one of the best warriors of her generation, the sword of a dead planet, but when the command assigns her brother to certain death and relegates her to the nursery to bear sons until she dies trying, she knows she must take humanity's revenge into her own hands. Yes, I'm so ready for this story. And I think it's been really slept on. I have not heard anybody else talk about this book, but it sounds like everything I want in a dystopian style novel. And I mean, it sounds very similar to The First Sister. And you guys know Megan E. O'Keefe, Essa Hansen, they speak my language. And I feel like Emily Tesh is going to as well. Like, it just sounds so good. And I do know that this is LGBTQ+, but I do not know why. So I will inform you guys whenever I get to that point and I'm reading the book. But so excited to get to this one. I need to just go buy it. I know I've said that I'm not going to buy books unless I've read them, but this one I don't think has a chance to fail me unless the writing is just not good. But with a 4.07 rating, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. Okay, and then there is the obvious God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I think I said that last name right. We've all been talking about this book, right? Because the cover is so dang gorgeous that we just couldn't get over how pretty this cover was. And it automatically hit everybody's radar. But then we talk about a mortal being taking on the gods. Yes, yes. This one girl traversing the world and taking down gods left and right. Yeah, we need this in our lives, right? I just haven't got my hands on it. And I know that this has been out for a while for people in the UK, but it just recently released for people in the US. And so with my whole ban on buying books, I'm gonna have to get this from the library. The wait for the hold is like forever long. But I'm still very excited to read it. And it definitely sounds up my alley because I'd like darker books to begin with. And, you know, I know that this main character has a girl that she's protecting that has a tie to a god as well. So very intriguing, very intriguing. Next we have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. Now there's a chance I might finish this book before the end of the year or read this book before the end of the year because I have something in the works that I'm going to be doing and this book might be caught up in that. However, Gothic. That's the whole reason that I want to read this book. The second that I heard this is Alex E. Harrow's Gothic offering to us, I was like, okay, I need it. Now, I have not yet read Alex E. Harrow. I know that Alex E. Harrow is popular with the girlies and that Once and Future Witches has been like really praised, highly praised. And then the fairy tale retellings have been highly praised. I haven't read them yet. I don't know why. I think it's because there's oftentimes all vibes, no plot placed on Alex E. Harrow. And I just haven't read it yet. I think 10,000 Doors of January, is that the one? No interest in that one. But this says, small town haunted by secrets that can't stay buried and a sinister house that sits in the crossroads of it all. I need that. And I think I can get by with dark vibes because I think that Gothic can be that way sometimes. And I can just sink into the darker vibes where I can't always sink into the vibes of a book if it's not dark. That probably says more about me than it should. But, you know, I really think I will like this one. And like I said, this one, there is a chance that I might actually read it this year. But it's a slim chance and it has competition, so we'll see. Okay, next we have Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. This is Chloe Gong's adult debut. The reason this one hit my radar though is because it came in my adult fairy loot box and I just haven't got around to reading it yet. Now, depending on the timing of everything in December, this also might be one that I get around to reading. And I will likely do a vlog of all of the adult fairy loot books on my shelves that I haven't read yet, because while I've read a good majority of them, there are some that I've let linger on the shelves because they weren't exactly what I wanted. Now this one I am still very intrigued for. This is about vampires, so obviously I'm going to be interested. There is a competition at the heart of this. You guys know that I love stories that have a competition at the heart of them. And I'm not really sure, I haven't heard anybody really talk about the book, but the copy that I have is stunning. So I'd really hate to like hold on to it if it's not good or if it's not my taste. And then, you know, I could sell the one that everybody wants. Or, you know, if I love it, find it a place to show off its beauty. Because right now, things that are on display are just pretty. Minus Might, Nevernight. Those are also really great books. The Sun and the Void. Oh my gosh. I just recently talked about this one, so I won't delve into it. But everyone was hyping this. I think it was because the cover is so dang awesome. Obviously, I'll be posting a picture of it, but it's also one that I might read this year, but it has a lot of competition. So we'll see how that goes. It made it to my lowest rated books on my TBR. I was shocked. I could not believe that we actually had such a hype book that hit my lowest rated books. Like, come on, people, what are we hyping? Now, I did hear that there were some issues with The Sun and the Void that's making it get a low rating. Haven't looked into any of the reviews, but one of my friends told me that representation in the book is not very good. And I didn't really delve into what type of representation they were talking about. And I think that there was some racism as well. So we'll see. I do want to read it. Like I said, these are books that were released in 2023 that I still want to read that I haven't gotten around to yet. But I am a little leery of that one. But I do have, like I said, there's something coming where that might actually be a book that I read. We'll see. We'll see. And one that released this year that I haven't talked about like at all because I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous. The Sword Defiant by Gareth Hanrahan. If you guys have been around for a little while, you will know everybody told me I should read The Gutter Prayer. I have had that recommended to me more times than I can count. And I had bought the whole series thinking, okay, so many people are recommending this to me. Obviously, I'm going to love it, right? No, I did not. So when The Sword Defiant came out, I waited for a particular friend of mine to read this and then tell me if I was going to like it because their taste aligns with mine in a lot of ways. So we have what we like to call the Trinity, Andrew, Kit trifecta. Like this is the reading taste. There's me on one side, Andrew on one side, and then Kit's kind of in the middle. And if Kit likes it, we're probably going to like it. Like Andrew's probably going to like it. I'm probably going to like it. If Kit doesn't like it, you know, it's probably a good chance that neither one of us are going to like it. And so Kit told me that I would actually really like this one and that the revenge plot carries through the book. And that is what makes it like more plot driven and everything like that. But it remains a focus of the book, even though there's so much other things going on. Like Gareth Hanrahan was known for his lush settings and character work. But if that is in a book, I'm hoping we get something like Live Ship. I keep pointing back here because Live Ship's on my favorites list, but they're actually over there. That's what I'm hoping for. Robin Hobb. Next would be The Surviving Sky, which I almost purchased twice this year, and then I didn't. I don't know why. I love this cover. Again, that's probably what initially caught my attention, but I've heard really good things about it as well. It has a 3.67 rating on Goodreads, which is kind of middle ground, but it only has 319 reviews. So I'm not really sure what to do with that. This does also have a romance in it, so that could be why people are knocking it down. But this is called The Rages, or Rages, the title of the series. Kritika H. Rao, I hope I said that right. This Hindu philosophy-inspired debut science fantasy follows a husband and wife racing to save their living city and their troubled marriage high above a jungle world besieged by cataclysmic storms. I'm always looking for books that have a husband and wife like in them, that it's an established relationship. So, you know, rocky marriages, okay, sure. Give us some kind of drama to, you know, help the story out a bit. But I love Threadlight for one of the many reasons being that there's a working, functional marriage in Threadlight. Like, I love that about the books so much. So I think that was what initially caught my attention with this, other than the cover, like I said. But husband and wife at the heart of the story, husband and wife taking on the world, that just sounds cool. And I want to find out if I like it. So this book is one that actually recently hit my radar. I didn't know about it whenever it first released, but a lot of people started talking about it, and a lot of people that I didn't expect to started talking about this. Like, I don't think that this was on any of the people that I follow's radar until I think Goldsboro possibly put this in their subscription. But The Pomegranate Gate by Ariel Kaplan. I feel like that has to have been where this one came from. I'm not sure. Lyrical first installment in the Mirror Realm cycle, a vibrant and heartfelt Inquisition-era Jewish epic fantasy in the vein of Naomi Novik, Catherine Arden, and Tasha Suri. So do those names engender feelings in me? Yes, feelings of I'm not going to like this. This is not going to be the book for me. I do think that these are all authors I could love. Like Naomi Novik, I love Spinning Silver. Love Spinning Silver. So if it's written in that style, Sure. Tasha Suri, I haven't read yet. I do really want to, though. There's a series of hers that I really want to get to. I think it's a duology. Um, Something about the Sands, Empire of Sands, something like that. Catherine Arden, however, not a fan. We all know I'm not a fan. But I do like lyrical writing. I really do. So I'm hoping that this one will be like a historical fantasy that I can really enjoy and really enjoy the atmosphere of. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued and I need to know. And these are books that I will always pick up. Like books like Spinning Silver, books like The Pomegranate Gate, books like Bear and the Nightingale. I will always pick them up because I need to know. And that is because I love Gothic fiction so much that I'm looking for something similar. And sometimes I think these types of books can pull that off. And like The Golem and the Genie, loved that one. But anyway, I think that that's kind of like the outlier historical fiction that will always be kind of a favorite for me because it harkens back to Gothic fiction. And I just need to know now. I need to know. Oh, next will be A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I had no plans to read this whatsoever because I don't like dark academia. You guys know this. But there are so many people who have told me, no, 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 don't let the dark academia throw you. Yes, it does have dark academia elements, but it's not the focus of the story. And so I'm jumping into this excited that the dark academia elements are minimal and that the rest of the story that evolves around what's going on here, the mystery and everything like that, takes the forefront because that's what I was excited for. And so A Study in Drowning has been added to my TBR now. And I need to know if it's going to be as good as everybody says it is. Again, this is coming in at a 4.1 or 4.01 rating on Goodreads. That is really high. And so I need to know. All of these I need to know. Okay, now for one that came out at the beginning of the year and its duology second part has already released, I believe, or is about to release. But that would be City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaeffer. Now, I don't remember who first put this on my radar, but I also couldn't tell you when it got put on my radar because I remember going back to this after Cage of Dreams had its release date set and we started seeing all of the like beautiful additions that Cage of Dreams was going to get. And I think that City of Nightmares got a special edition upon its release, but the Cage of Dreams one was what caught my attention. This one released in January of this year though. So I still want to read it. City of Nightmares. I've looked into it a little bit. I don't know a whole lot about it. I do know that it's like new adult, not young adult. It's labeled on Goodreads as young adult and it is not young adult. It's horror, it's paranormal, it's got vampires, it's got a mystery at the heart of it. So whenever I started hearing all of those elements, I was like, you're speaking my language, please give me more. And it says Gotham meets Strange the Dreamer in this thrilling, well, I guess it is YA. From everyone that has talked about it, they say it's not, but I guess that it is marketed as YA. About a cowardly girl who finds herself at the center of a criminal syndicate conspiracy in a city where crooked politicians and sinister cults reign, and dreaming means waking up as your worst nightmare. So, I mean, it sounds really dang cool. It sounds awesome. So I misspoke. Everybody that has talked about it, like I said, says they don't think it's YA, or maybe they've like mentioned, yes, it's marketed as YA, but it doesn't read that way. I could have been the one that got that backwards. But definitely looking forward to City of Nightmares and Cage of Dreams. And it has a rating of 3.78, which is pretty good, especially when you consider that this is horror and vampires. Okay, next, and I have to say, this one is probably more related to the fact that I like Murderbot than anything else, but the Genbot of Shanty Port. Shanty Port was supposed to be a gateway for the stars, but the city is sinking and its colonist rulers are helping anyone but themselves. Lena, a daughter of failed revolutionaries, has no desire to escape Shanty Port. She loves her city and would do anything to save its people. This, in fact, the plan for her life made before she was even born. Oh, this is, in fact, the plan for her life made before she was even born. Her brother bought her a small monkey bot with a big attitude and bigger ambitions. He wants a chance to leave his dead-end planet and explore the universe on his own terms, but would that mean abandoning the family he loves, even if they do take him for granted? So I think that this sounds really cool. I think it sounds like it's going to be fun. I think that it sounds like it could be a hoot and a half, but it reminds me of Murderbot. Murderbot is so fun. I really enjoy it. And if you guys have read Murderbot, or if you haven't, one of the things that I really love about Murderbot is Murderbot was created to do one thing, protect humanity. That's what Murderbot was created to do. And the whole point of the Murderbot story is that he has lost his governor that tells him this is what you do. And he kind of, and I say he, it, I always do this. And it's because the voice of the books is male. But anyway, Murderbot decides that they do not want to live the life that they're living. They don't want to protect humans. They don't like humans. And with their governor missing, they can do whatever they want. And so this sounds very similar in regards to what I like about Murderbot crossing over to what I would probably like about this book. Okay, so this one takes a little bit of explaining. The Death I Gave Him by M.X. Liu, Hamlet. Okay, so this is a Hamlet retelling. It says, a lyrical queer sci-fi retelling of Shakespeare's Hamlet as a locked room thriller. I need to know what that means. How can you give me a line like that and then, walk away? I have refused to actually read what the actual synopsis is because of that line. I just need to know now. And I am a huge Shakespeare fan. I do love Hamlet. And whenever you give me a Shakespeare retelling and then say it's going to be a locked room thriller, I need it in my life, and I need to know. Okay. This last one I have been talked into. So we are going back to Dork Academia. This is not one, like I said, that would have hit my radar, but so many people that read the same books that I do have told me, Trinity, you have to read this book because it's so good. And it's from an author that I have been a little iffy about in the past, but that is The Will of the Many, the Hierarchy Book 1. Dark Academia, like I said, James is linked in, I linked in, don't know which one is right. Lycanus, this is the guy who wrote Lycanus. And oh my goodness. Okay, so high fantasy, epic fantasy, mystery, science fiction, all of that wrapped into one. And yeah, Dark Academia. So they're the same people who have, like I said, same reading taste to me and didn't like Babel have said to read this. So I'm kind of going off of that as my recommendation basis. And I don't know. It has a 4.66 rating on Goodreads with 1,300 reviews, 1,400 reviews almost. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to be the one person who doesn't like this book. Watch. Just watch. It's gonna happen. That's what's gonna be what happens. But yeah, The Will of the Many, after hearing a couple people talk about it, especially my friend Patrick Ryan, because we do have very similar reading taste. He is a Sanderson fan and I'm not, but most of our tastes align. And so whenever he was raving about this book, I was like, okay, you might have actually talked me into this. But yeah, I mean, those are the 15 books that I wanted to read this year that didn't get around to, that I don't think I'm going to get around to before the end of the year. My dog is having issues with his allergies, it seems, because he keeps shaking his head. Let me know your thoughts on these books because I still haven't read them, obviously, and I want to get to them, but I'm prioritizing some video ideas before, my actual reading, which I don't know that that's true because these are things I've been wanting to do for a while. Let me know your thoughts on all of these books. If you think I'll like them, if you think I won't like them, if you think I'm crazy for wanting to read them. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things. If you guys want to connect with me in any other way, I do have all of my links in a link tree link down below. Bye.